Welcome to Drip Chat. I am your host, Space the Great. With this podcast, we are purveyors of all things dope. The drip is not just limited to material possessions, it also includes your hustle, work ethic, state of mind, and other intangibles. Today, I'm chopping it up with my player partner, E, who is someone I've known to possess many of the aforementioned qualities. Join me as we discuss entrepreneurship, current events, and more. This is Drip Chat, the podcast for people that know fresh.
I always want to do that right there.
Yeah, everything is clicking.
Yeah, that Lil Wayne ice in my cup.
Okay. Yeah, we're going live.
Yes, sir.
This is the Drip Chat podcast, the freshest podcast. I am your host, Space the Great, and I have a special guest today, one of my player partners, super player partners, and
Super duper.
we is just about to chop it up and shoot the shit like we normally do. We need to re-up on anything, drinks.
Huh?
We need to re-up on anything, drinks. Everybody got a full cup.
Before we start, I'm gonna hit the bathroom one time, cause wait.
Okay, cool.
You already know that's gonna rock you out.
You know, the thing about that is, man, you just gotta make sure that you keep your hygiene together. Wash your hands. You know, they say the mask is not even really the best prevention against the coronavirus. It's really more so centered around washing your hands, because your hands is the first thing that normally comes in contact with foreign objects.
But if you really sat down and thought about it, cause I think about this all the time too, as far as washing your hands and sanitizing them. Like, bro, almost anything you touch, like it's like you almost gotta sanitize your hands after anything you touch. I could touch this candle right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How many people touch it that's been here and even before you even bought this candle? You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
That's true. That's true. Everything has to come from somewhere. You know, it's if it's made in a factory, or, you know, even if it comes from the earth, it has to go from point A to point B to get to you, unless you've grown it yourself.
This is what's gonna blow your mind too, though. Think about people that's coming through that door right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't know, you know what I mean, what their hand situation is, and they touch your doorknob. And so you go back and touch that doorknob too. You ain't sanitizing your hands every time you touch the doorknob.
Contaminated.
Gotcha.
Everything you touch, contaminated.
Gotcha. You feel
Contaminated.
me? So yeah, it's hard. Like, you can put the mask on and try to protect it, but you know, things like that, man, get you messed up quick.
So Ply say, don't talk to me about no coronavirus if you ain't scared of getting AIDS, motherfucker. They say everybody out here going crazy anyway. Why is you worried about the coronavirus? What do you make of that?
I kind of feel. I mean, nah.
Are you more scared of AIDS or the coronavirus?
I'll be more scared of AIDS, for sure.
Coronavirus will take you out.
No. The coronavirus will take you out. Don't get me wrong. Actually, yeah, you. I feel like, though, with the coronavirus right now, I feel like we are working in a way where you can get rid of it. Like, it's not like once you get coronavirus, your life is over with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? AIDS, even though there's chances now where you may not die, but if you catch AIDS, bro,
yeah, you got it.
You know what I mean? You feel like your life is almost like, man.
Yeah, you damn sure got it. If you catch it, you damn sure got it. You know. But there's ways to treat it and live with it.
Live longer, but you gotta have money. Coronavirus is just new. I feel like right now it's just new, but you know we're gonna have situations where I feel like you take care of yourself. But
so, do you feel like it's fair to the only way you could have a decent health is to have money? Do you think like money should equate to access to healthcare?
You shouldn't. I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, it shouldn't be, but that's the way. This is the world we live in now, though.
Yeah.
You have to. You know what I mean? It's just like at the same time, like think about going like to Whole Foods or Sprouts or anything like that, bro. Like everything in there is way more expensive if you go to Publix or Kroger or something
Piggly
like that.
Wiggly.
You know what I mean? Something like that. You're gonna
Damn
see
right.
them cheaper prices gonna look good, but if you look at the ingredients, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you already know why the price is what it is at Kroger's or some of that stuff like that. So, um, it's just the world we live in at the end of the day, man. But you can, if you don't, all you can do is try to do your best to eat the best way you can possibly can. And it's really maybe cooking your own food.
Yeah, I personally think it's fucked up that it costs more money to eat better. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe we could grow our own shit.
That's
Should we have more community gardens and shit like that where people can just come and get fresh produce, farmers markets? Is that something that we're gonna have to accomplish through more entrepreneurship?
it's gonna be coming through us owning more land and people that own that land and wanting to do that. Cause at the same time, like what you said is like it sounds great, but you know what I mean. Realistically, do you see that happening? I know I don't. Personally, I don't.
We gotta make growing food cool again.
You gotta make owning land so that you can. You know what I mean? Like you gotta
Yeah.
own your land so these people that want to do those things, they ain't gotta worry about someone else because they own the land so they can grow their own food. You know what I
Ownership.
mean? That's really what it comes down to. Like you said, ownership.
That's the
that drip.
process.
You know
That's
what I mean?
that's definitely drip.
Ownership needs to be that drip. You feel me?
Okay. So that's what we promoting. We promoting ownership. We promoting growing your own food. We promoting taking accountability for your situation.
Controlling everything, man. Controlling your situation right now. Think about where we at right now. It's what's today? It's Wednesday at 4:30 right now. You know what I mean?
Down Wednesday.
What are we doing?
Podcasting.
You know what I mean? Most people right now are probably still clock. They watching the clock heavy right now because they know it's about the time they about to get off work. 5-6 o'clock is coming real quick for a lot of these people.
Rush hour.
You know, you know what I mean? Like they're people. A lot of people are at the job right now, but we're sitting here able to do something like this because we controlled our schedule. We took control. You know what I mean? And that's what it need to come down to. We need to promote that. That's what need to be cool right now. Take control of what you got going on.
Yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly.
You know, everybody got a different way up the mountain. You know, so choose your life goal, but make sure you drive in your own boat. You drive in the boat. Straight up.
Hey, take it. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure, man, you ain't that person that go up the mountain and keep going. You feel me? If you go up the mountain, turn around and try to help somebody, elevate them. You feel me? At least try it. Try it.
Yeah, I had a talk with my little brother earlier today, and I was telling him that even as I'm developing as a professional, I still feel like there's different levels to it because I feel like once you reach a certain level, you're able to give opportunities to other people. So that's the next challenge for me in this new decade is to just grow to the level where I can give other people opportunities. And I think that's even something I'm planting seeds with this podcast is just being able to shine the light on people that I associate with and and get their take on life and how we go through some of the same things.
So what opportunities? When you say opportunities, like what's your goal? What's your mission as far as what do you want to show other people? Like, can you explain that to me?
I just want to take people under my wing. If I can grow my business to a level where I can relinquish some of the responsibility to somebody and pay them for it. Basically, that makes me feel more like I've reached another level of achievement.
So I guess to be more specific, like what type of people, or is there a certain like certain group of people that you're looking to really influence? Shots.
Um, just people that are passionate about what they want to spend their time doing. I think the best person to reach out and extend your hand to is somebody that is going to be serious and passionate about what you're offering them. What I mean? I think that's something that it takes. It could be a slight vetting process. Some people you can get that sense of earlier, and some people, it may take a little bit more getting to know them. But at the end of the day, I think it should be somebody that's going to really want to live that life. What I mean? And by that life, I mean, whatever that opportunity entails, that's what they are confident and satisfied with doing. A lot of times people just jump on something just to jump on it, but that's not even that's not even something that they really. It's just a temporary thing. So I'm trying to offer a long term opportunity. I want to grow. I want to see people grow to be able to give others opportunities, because that's how that's how it starts. That's how the process works.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Bro, I know I was one of those people. Like, starting up, like, I know, like, I try to jump on, like, every wave that I felt like was going to take me to being rich.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, we all, I mean, of course, everybody wants to be rich. You know what I mean? And I really want it with a passion, bro. So it's like any type of opportunity, and sometimes I jump the gun, and I think that's what, I think that was my biggest mistake, because I jumped the gun so quick so many times, because I felt like it was the next biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When multi-level marketing, the pyramid schemes,
Mm-hmm.
bruh, like trying to sell like all these different type of things to people. You know what I mean? I was trying to do all that. I just thought again, like that was the wave. Like, that's what I was trying to do. But I think now the biggest thing I learned was, like, if you really sit down, and if you want to do something, if you really just sit down and like develop a game plan for it, like develop a strategy. You know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of people aren't willing to do, which is why there's not a lot of entrepreneurs out there, or that's why there's not, as many, because a lot of people want to be able to just jump into something and be able to get there, and all of a sudden they're cashing checks, driving these nice ass cars, doing whatever they want to do. But really, you got to sit down and you got to enjoy doing the bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's a safety net, more so when you are an employee versus when you are the employer. You know what I mean? So, entrepreneurship is definitely more. It has more risks associated with it, but at the same time, the potential for the reward is unlimited. Whereas being an employee, there's a ceiling that's normally at the top of the pay level. So the things are it outweighs it on one end, and it weighs more on the other end.
So like, what about so with you though? You know what I mean? Because I know at the same time, little probably do you know, obviously, a lot of people are influenced by the things that you do. You know what I mean, or how you were able to create your situation coming out of anything that you came from. Like, what day was it, or when was it? Like, when did it all of a sudden this light just turn on when you just said, "Man, listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. This is how I'm gonna make this work." You know what I mean? Without just doing the regular 9 to 5 shit.
Okay. Well, I still am kind of pretty much on the 9 to 5 tip, but it's definitely the first day. The first day was probably just as soon as I got the opportunity to go from working a dead end job, like that job. Actually, when I came home from jail, my partner let me stay at his spot, and I eventually was able to get my life together and turn it around until I got a job opportunity. I went and interviewed for an assistant position, and I did what I had to do for some time until I was able to grow into something better. like I said, it's a lot of different things outside of the box that people don't know about, like employment opportunities and career paths. That's another thing that I plan to associate with Drip Chat is shining a light on different things like that. But for me, yeah, it was early on. It was early on. It was to your question, it was early on. I just made a decision that if the potential for growth is unlimited, well then I'm just gonna give that shit everything I have. You know what I'm saying? And
It's incredible though, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Again, I don't, obviously I don't get that many times to be able to tell you, but like everything that you're doing, bro, is incredible.
I respect that. I appreciate that.
That's why I definitely want to get it out there, because I think your motivation for a lot of people. You know what I mean? As far as both of us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of things, a lot of where we came from, and things that has happened. Like, people think once you go down one road, bro, like that's it. Like, there's no turning. Like, you can't do anything else. Like, this is all I know. You know what I mean? It's too late to do anything else. This is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But like, you're a perfect example, you know what I mean, on everything that's going on right now. Yeah. You feel me? So be respect to that, bro, for real.
Like I said, you just gotta have a will to want to be better and truly grow and understand that requires sacrifice. Everything requires sacrifice. It just depends on how bad you want it. You gotta be disciplined and make sacrifices. But at the end, you'll get what you want. So we're going to go ahead and jump into some more of these topics. This is Drip Chat Podcast, the freshest podcast.
That's just, man.
Let's see what we got. My shit is all fucked up. Okay. All right. Cali to GA. So you are a Cali native. Is that correct?
First of all, before we even go too into that, like, I did not even plan this. So let's let that known for the YouTube world out there. I had no idea he was gonna ask me anything about Cali when I got my Los Angeles hoodie on and cap on. No idea. But back to the question, absolutely.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Absolutely to the fullest. That's Cali, that's born and raised all day.
Okay, cool. And so,
hold on. Matter of fact, no. It wasn't Cali to the GA though. It was Cali to Ohio, then Ohio to GA.
Okay.
So shout out to Ohio. You know what I mean? Buckeyes, y'all already know what's up.
Yeah, Ohio, man. How is Ohio? That's how you have your affinity for Ohio State.
So the story behind me becoming an Ohio State fan is when I moved to Ohio, like, I wasn't a college fan. Like, I wasn't watching college sports. You know what I mean? Like, I had a professional basketball and football team and baseball team, but I did not watch college sports. When I moved to Ohio, like, they was really big into college sports. You know what I mean? And I still was I watched a couple games, obviously, because I lived in Ohio. Ohio State was on all the time. And it wasn't until the year that they beat Miami, you know what I mean, and won the national championship, because I started watching them like that entire year. And I just became a diehard fan, like, ever since then, because I seen, like, how excited everybody was to see the team win. So, I just became a diehard Ohio State fan from that time. Man.
That was in the 90s?
That was 2000, 2002, 2003.
Okay.
I said I was in the college fan. Like, I didn't in California, bro. Like, at the end of the day, especially, you know what I mean, kind of the things that I was doing, like sports. Like, I wasn't like sports wasn't something, like, wasn't a priority or something that we was big into. You know what I mean? So, like, professional, of course. You feel me? But like, yeah, I was definitely not a college fan until I moved to Ohio, and then I adapted Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Ohio State.
Them Buckeyes, y'all already know what's up. You know what I mean?
Okay, so when you got to Georgia, what did you think about the Georgia lifestyle? What was it easy for you to adjust to Georgia? How old were you? Were you an early teen?
Nah, when I came to Georgia my senior year, in high
Oh,
school.
you came. You was a grown ass man when you
I
came to Georgia.
When I came to Georgia, I was a senior. You feel me? So
Oh, okay,
I spent
so
1 year in high school in Georgia when I came out here.
oh, you was going crazy.
Yeah, I of course I just came from. You got to think about it. Like anybody that's listening to this right now, that's in the Ohio area, especially in Cincinnati, um, you'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when I come from at that point from Ohio to to Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
it was cool. Like you know what I mean? It was better at the same time. It's not California. California is completely different, but Georgia was like okay. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I can I can mess with this a little bit. So it was a good experience, man. It was still kind of different though, kind of adjust because again, you gotta understand. I went from the West Coast to the Midwest to the South.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I touched a lot of different cultures. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to adjust down here, it was different, but I feel like it was a lot easier. Like especially if I would have came from California straight here, you know what I mean? It would have been a lot easier adjustment. You know what I mean? Because it's not too far off. You know what I mean? It's different, but it's not Ohio and Atlanta. Like Ohio and Atlanta is completely different.
Night and day.
Yeah, just like
Night
Ohio and Los Angeles, night and day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ohio from anything, you know what I mean? That's not even close to that. It's gonna be down there night and day.
Yeah, Ohio is definitely its own world. Shout out to Ohio.
Yeah, still love, like you know what I mean. Like I said, if people like again, if you hearing this, what I'm saying is not a lie. Even people in Ohio are gonna be like, he ain't lying. They love you know what I mean. Like I said, we're gonna rock for the teams. You know, at the end of the day, I still rock with the Cleveland Cavaliers without LeBron. I'm a Clippers fan too, but at the same time, I still rock with the Cavs. You know what I mean? It ain't about just where LeBron went. You know what I mean? It's always been about the Cleveland Cavaliers. So that's one thing about Ohio is they are dedicated sports teams. So shout out to all the sports fans in Ohio, man, for real.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. So moving on from Ohio, let's go ahead and
literally.
I definitely wanted to get back into the Cali to GA because I feel like there's a relationship between Cali and Georgia that's like cousins almost. Like Cali and Georgia are cousins. Tupac comes here. You know, Tupac came here. He had a history here. I think his mother lived here.
And you said Tupac comes here. I'm about to say you got.
I mean, he came here when he was alive.
Yeah, I'm about to say, boy, no Tupac.
But there's a relationship between Cali and Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? YG, Rich Homie Quan, Jeezy. You know, everybody has a E40. You know, everybody has a back and forth. Cali and Atlanta. So what do you think some of the similarities of California and Atlanta are? I mean, I shouldn't compare a state. I should say L.A. and Atlanta.
To be honest, man, like I look at there's similarities, but I can't because I'm from Southern California. I'm from Los Angeles. You know what I mean? I see a lot more similarities in like the Bay Area to Atlanta.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just because you know, like in the Bay getting hype. You know, getting hyphy. You feel me?
Okay.
Out here it's getting crunk.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like those two, like you know what I mean. I see a lot of that, how all that gets together, but at the same time, you know, definitely shout out because I this is my home too, so I love Atlanta as well. Atlanta's just a good spot right now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's definitely a safe bet.
You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing. So even a rapper from Los Angeles or something like. Your best bet is you want to get with someone that's buzzing right now from Atlanta. Whether it's Lil Baby, Jeezy, like whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while.
Yeah, like if you want to get out there and really sell records, then you
gotta come through Atlanta.
Yeah, you're gonna have to connect with somebody out here in Atlanta because they doing numbers. You know what I'm saying? They making good music
Atlanta. Too. So. You know, recently, a lot of artists have, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but over the past year, 2 mainstream artists have been gunned down in L.A. What do you think needs to change, or what do you think needs to be understood about L.A. to somebody who's an outsider?
I mean, honestly, that's a real good question because I know, like, especially because I mean, obviously with the whole thing with Pop Smoke, you know what I mean.
Correct.
And like I said, rest in peace to Pop Smoke, man. I never listened to too much of his music, so I can't, you know what I mean, really, talk about his music career or anything like that. But
His music was good.
I did see him on social media a lot, and it was something about him, bro. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when I see these people doing what they're doing, and I be like, man, you know what I mean? Like I just, I wish the best for them, at the same time because it's a when you get famous, man, you know what I mean? And you don't even gotta be famous because we live this life like me and you, bro. Like even out here, you know what I mean? Like we're not famous. Like people, the world don't know us. But if you're doing well, like even out here, like you gonna get a lot of haters. You know what I mean? But so if you're doing things when you if you were out here with a cocky attitude, like just stunting, flexing, you know what I mean? Obviously, you're gonna with a lot of people want to come at you. You know what I mean? Period. Point blank.
Definitely
Period.
become a target.
So it's like when I see these things and like I say, even rest in peace, Slim Duncan, man. Like a lot of these people, bro. I was like, man, I felt like I just hope like nothing happens to him because I felt like I just feel like the haters is gonna want to come after him, bro. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, when it comes to what you're saying, and I didn't want to go off subject too much, but it's just like, bro, you just gotta be careful out here. You know what I mean? Be humble at the same time. Just be careful, be humble. When you start getting money, man, don't let that get to you. Don't let that, you know what I mean? Because you create enemies all the time. You know what I'm saying? So even when it comes, like I said, and the reason why I say that too, because I don't feel like it was just California. When you go to California, obviously it's a bigger target, because especially when you know what I'm saying, when you representing something, you know what I mean, like you coming to the homeland. So you really gotta be extra cautious. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were just somebody, like if you were just a regular commercial person that represented whatever he represented, you know what I mean? And I know what he represents, but I'm not gonna throw all that on here. You know what I'm saying? Like he would have been okay. He probably would have been okay. Like if it was Drake, you know what I'm saying? Drake probably would have had a whole bunch of females that probably would have rushed his crib or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think people would have came at Drake like that. You know what I'm saying? But when you one of these people like that, bro, like you really gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I don't think it's just anything to do with California. Like yes, it increases.
It's anywhere.
Yeah, but you just gotta be careful, bro. And
Anywhere.
And like I said, man, and again to be with Pop Smoke, I will say this. When I seen the videos, you know what I'm saying, like when bro got jumped, like you seen that?
Yeah.
You saw the video when he got jumped and then he messed around and caught them. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff, bro. I would have had somebody else handle that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even been seen in that. I would have had somebody else handle that for me. You know what I mean? Because you just gotta be careful when you put yourself in these situations because you get money.
Yeah, it's a certain way to move when you're a high profile individual, man. So I still say thumbs down to gun violence. And let's just find other ways to deal with things, man. Let's just find other ways. Let's talk it out. Let's sit down. Let's whatever we gotta do, man. But
that ain't gotta stop, man.
That's what it
you
is.
Know what I'm saying? Learn from somebody. Like if somebody doing good, try to learn from that person. You know what I mean? Don't hate on it. Try to learn from that person.
Okay. So moving on. You came down to Georgia as a senior in high school, and then you went to college. What was that experience like for you?
Man. So the college life, like it was different because when you're in high school, man, when you think of college, obviously you think about these big universities. You know what I mean? Like you think of all these big universities, like you're thinking about all this stuff you see on TV, MTV Spring Break,
Going
BET,
crazy.
like you thinking about all that stuff right there.
We caught the tail end of it.
Yeah, you know
Yep.
what I mean, bro. I ended up at South Georgia.
You and me both.
You know what I mean?
For the
Exactly. And now hold on, that's what I was about to get to, but at the same time, like again, that's where I met you at, bro. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir.
it was college life for me. You know what I mean? I was hustling, bro. Like think about the times. Like shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs, cause my boy used to come in here. That's when we was playing for money.
KC.
You was a New England
KC,
Patriots.
I was New England.
I was playing with
I was New
KC. You
England.
was a Patriots,
I would
bro.
always pick
Like,
New
and
England.
we was playing for money every single time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like college to me was all about that money. You know what I'm saying? So, it was different.
Flag football.
Yeah, it was different. Like of course, again because you can relate coming from here and going to Coffee County, it is a very different lifestyle.
Yeah.
A very
Shout out to Crooked Coffee.
Cricket Coffee. You know what I mean? But it was a lot of solid people out there too, man. I ain't gonna lie, like there's a lot of solid people out there, man. But it was a very different lifestyle, bro. So yeah, it was different.
College for me, North Georgia and South Georgia are extremely different.
What was the first thing? Hold on.
And
What was
also
what was
very-
the first thing you thought about? Like, I need you to go all the way back to your first time when you first got off the 75.
Okay.
And you got off that exit, and you
All right.
made that left, and you started riding down. What were the thoughts going in your mind?
I was like, damn, how far is this shit from the highway? This shit like we was on the highway for 3 hours, and then we had to get off and go another hour and a half, 2 hours off the highway just to get to where we was going. And I didn't know where the fuck that was. I was like, bruh.
So did y'all? Cause I know, like my people's didn't tell me when we was getting off the exit, we was about to have to ride another down that hour and a half, like 2 hours. Like I thought when we got off the damn exit, like it was gonna be right there. Did you know when you got that exit, you was finna have to ride?
Man, let me tell you something, bro. When I saw Douglas, Georgia, I was thinking Douglas. I don't know what I was thinking, but I saw Douglas, Georgia, and I thought Douglas County. So I'm thinking it's right up the road.
Oh hell,
Bro.
nah.
I put in the directions. Because you remember back then it wasn't no GPS, but you had MapQuest. So you would type in MapQuest and then you would print out the directions and it would tell you how to get where you needed to go.
Damn, hold on, bro.
You remember MapQuest?
I know. I remember MapQuest. I was actually just talking about this with somebody the other day, but
I was not aware
it was not
that it was
long
that
ago.
far away from my actual residence.
Hold on, spaceman. You are not that old to be talking with. You first went to South Georgia, you was using MapQuest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I printed out MapQuest, man. I mean, we print out MapQuest. I had internet, though. Hey, that's the flex, though. I had internet. You know what I'm saying? That was when you had to.
Listen, it feel like MapQuest was like so long ago, bro. Like,
That was the first GPS.
dang. Okay. All right.
First GPS.
So,
Yeah, but South Georgia was a different world. It almost felt more like North Florida to me. You know what I mean? Because it was like its own region. You know, it's like you're not really in Atlanta and you're not really in Orlando or Miami or Jacksonville, but you like right here in this central place, and it's like its own world. Savannah is like on the outskirts of it, and then you got South Central, Waycross, and Valdosta, and Douglas, and all that whole network, man. It's just a nice.
Brett says you're not really in Atlanta, bro. You're not at all.
No.
No,
Yeah, it's its own thing. It's its own thing. It's definitely its own thing. And now,
So how did you adjust though? How did you adjust?
I stayed true to what I knew, and I just bonded with the right people. I just bonded with the right people. I attracted the right people. That's something that you got to do. If you have the right mentality, you're going to attract the right people. There's always the potential to attract the wrong people, but in this instance, I attracted the right people, and I was able to learn the landscape correctly to where I could develop and thrive.
Now you and this is definitely because again, a lot of things changed. You know what I mean? Like the moment when I came down there, and when we linked, a lot of things changed, bro. A lot of things changed.
Absolutely,
Man.
yeah. I mean, shit. That was like the beginning of the end
Hey,
for me.
that.
To be honest with you, that was like the beginning of the end.
Hey,
actually.
when I link with you, whenever our paths collided down in South Georgia, bro,
Yeah.
like everything there, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
just
made a man out of me though.
just think too, man. At the same time, man, if we never link, like, do you think like our lives would be too much different? Like, if I never like really rock with you like the way we rock with now, like when I first met you, and we didn't rock like that, like, do you think our lives would change? Like, would there be anything significantly different in our lives right now?
Honestly, no. I think we probably would have probably still even have met each other at some point. Honestly, with the background that we had and the proximity of everything, so that's pretty much that's a good thing to me. You know what I mean? The fact that our life path was pretty much set at the point where we met each other and became homeboys. You know what I'm saying? And shit. That's just a testament to our determination.
I would say this as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it did only because if I didn't rock with you, if I didn't before, when it came to my PlayStation and all that stuff happened.
The PlayStation.
Listen,
I remember the PlayStation.
I wouldn't have believed you the way I did. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't have the relationship we already had. You know what I mean? At that point, like I felt like a lot of things like I just knew. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't concerned because of the relationship. I was like, yeah, I mean, okay, cool, everything.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember I remember that mission we had went to on the road trip. You know what I'm saying? So I know we had already been player partners the whole time. Partners the whole time. Yeah, man. So we just gonna keep on moving on down the list. So college was fun. It was an enriching experience, and we learned a lot. Wouldn't you say the same?
That's how we here, man. That's how we here. I wouldn't be here right now with you if it wasn't for college.
Okay, so moving right along, we talked about vending machines recently. What do you know about vending machines and the vending machine business?
To be honest, man, the vending machine business is something I just got into. So I mean, it was a hustle that it just made sense. You know what I mean? Just to me, at the end of the day, it just makes sense. You pay the amount, the starting fees. You pay for your vending machine. If you get one with a credit card reader or not, you got to add one. Deliveries, all them extra costs, whatever. At the end of the day, you're gonna make your money back eventually. Like there's just no way that you cannot at least make your money back from a vending machine. You know what I'm saying? So the logic was just there.
That's exciting.
That's what exciting. It is, man. And you just gotta from there. Once you get started, man, that's all you gotta do is get started. That's really it.
What's something that you learned after you got started that you wish you would have known beforehand?
With the vending machines?
Yeah.
Probably just the cost. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I thought it was just gonna be easy, just paying for the vending machine and paying for the stocking fees. I mean, as far as putting with the merchandise and the products in the vending machine, but I didn't think about what I mean. Credit card readers, your data readers, delivery fees, the person that's going to install the credit card readers. Like I didn't think about all that stuff. So to me, that was probably the biggest surprise when it came down to the vending machines.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So, moving right along, you had title. Is there any kind of how important do you think it is to have a title when being a public figure?
When you say title, what is?
I mean, by title, I mean a quote unquote stage name.
Actually, like that question is something I actually been going through in my mind. So that's I think it's important. It's very important because when you start off, like again, obviously I got my government name,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody calls me by my government name. Everybody calls me by my nickname, which is just the first letter of my government
Mm.
name. You know what I mean? So it's like, but how do I transition that into a stage name? You know what I mean? Like my whole life, I've never had a quote unquote stage name. So I mean, I think it's important if you want to separate because depending on what your name is, like you can have any type of nickname. You know what I'm saying? And it really may be the marketing behind it at the same time. Because if I think about it, think about Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it like if we didn't know Shaq before Shaq is who he is now,
Mm-hmm.
but if someone just came out and said my name is Shaq, you know what I'm saying? Like how you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't think nothing about it, but obviously because of the marketing, because of what Shaq made that nickname it. You know what I mean? He made it a name. So now if you come behind Shaq, the first thing you're gonna think about is a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
It's a household name.
yeah, so you know what I mean. At the same time, I wouldn't think too much into the stage name. You know what I mean. I think it's important, obviously, to brand yourself different from your actual name, but I wouldn't think too much into it because it's gonna be all about your marketing and what you do with it.
Okay. Um, coronavirus. Coronavirus. What is your take on the coronavirus?
The coronavirus. To me, if I'm honest right now, for the longest I've been looking at it, how it's gonna affect the stocks that I'm investing in.
Mm. Mm.
You know what I
That's
mean?
that's a
Like,
fair assessment.
like that's how I've been assessing it. But now, you know what I mean? It was cool to assess it that way, but now it's getting a little closer to home. So yeah, it's starting to get a little bit more serious, man. It's definitely starting to get a little bit more serious because now it's home.
The stock market took a
Yeah,
big dip, right?
like I mean, the stock markets have definitely been dipping, but at the same time, if you're an investor in the stock markets, when you see dips, that's when you like to buy because
So
you get it for the low, prices.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's just about buying in the right time because eventually they're gonna go back up. So you want to buy low. You know what I mean?
That's the name of the game.
That's the name of the game when it comes to the stock. So to me, like being over here, like I've been coronavirus. I'm not saying I've been enjoying it. I'm just saying I've been looking at it from a whole different perspective because I've been looking at stock purposes. But now that it's about to touch home, now you're starting to look at more personal. Like, look, now you need to start being a little bit more cautious so it's not really affecting you personally. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Time to wrap up the prevention tactics.
Yeah, like you gotta take it serious. It ain't no joke. It's definitely no joke. It's not right now.
Okay, cool. So moving right along, social media. Social media is the topic of discussion at the moment. We're trying to figure out what is the future of social media. I mean, it seems like everything ultimately is an advertisement for social media, and people are, just kind of burnt out on it. Will there ever be another app besides Instagram that people will flock to at the magnitude that they are now?
I mean, I feel it's hard for you to answer that question because after Instagram, I felt like there would be no app after Instagram. Then there was Snapchat. Now there's TikTok. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to answer that question because you're always gonna feel like how the hell are they going? What's gonna come out of TikTok? Like we got everything now.
I feel
You
personally.
Go ahead.
I feel like TikTok is just Vine again. That's all TikTok is just Vine again.
But again, that's what I'm saying. At the same time, when you ask me a question like specifically talking about Instagram or anything like that, like someone can remix one of these things. You know what I mean? But I mean, as far as the relevance of social media, I think it's definitely important. So at the end of the day, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to do something, like I think you need to be on top of every trending social media topic, or whether it's TikTok, Snapchat, whatever's gonna come out of TikTok. Like I feel obviously there's gonna be something come out of the TikTok. We're just waiting to see what it's gonna be.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy because like I honestly feel like what was the reason Vine went away if it just came right back around to TikTok? I mean, the graphics and the effects is better, but ultimately, I think it's still the same thing.
It's a trend, bro. It's a trend, man. Like TikTok can go away, and then someone else can come up with something that's the same thing as TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now this new thing that's happening because some person that was some type of influence posted on this social media platform, and now all of a sudden this is what it is.
Yeah, Instagram is definitely the perfect marketing tool. I think
Facebook
it's
too.
Facebook is kind of like for the old heads now.
But Facebook,
but it's still relevant.
Honestly, Facebook is still ahead of Instagram.
It's relevant
as far as like ads. Like Facebook is still the number one. If you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to do ads, you're gonna invest. You want to invest more money in Facebook ads than Instagram, because like you just said, because there's still people like, you know what I mean. Like we feel like, because we're like, yeah, everybody wants to be on these new platforms, but there's still people that still are of our age that still check their Facebook. Right. Maybe not every day, but every other day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then you
still
got
the app on the phone.
Then you still got the old heads that check that shit faithfully. You feel me? So Facebook is still the number one ad because there's not a lot of people like the old heads and everything is not on Instagram and all that stuff yet. They stopped at Facebook.
They ain't up on that.
They said it's a wrap. Facebook is a wrap.
That's enough for them. That's enough for them. So I wish it was enough for me.
I stopped at Instagram, bro.
I wish Facebook was enough for me.
I've tried like 3 times. I started Snapchat, but I deleted it every time.
It ain't enough for me. I know it's more to life. I know there's more to life than just Facebook.
I know how to get money off Facebook. Like that's what.
Yeah. No, Facebook. Facebook got a lot of trinkets on it.
Look,
you know.
That's what social media is for, man. Nowadays,
it is.
You know what I mean? Keep up with family at the same time. Like,
it's become more of a cash grab than a communication thing now. It's not like I want to holler. It's not like I genuinely want to talk to you. I just want to sell you my mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Like it's become like
it's because
a cash grab almost, right?
But it's because of the strategy and marketing. Like, you know what I mean? When it comes to, if you got an e-com business, or if you got any type of business, you already know people. You got billions of people scrolling through their social media every day.
Billions.
So why wouldn't you market your product or have a Facebook ad or a funnel or even Instagram? So when they're scrolling through it, at least they're seeing my product. Mm-hmm. Rather they stop and look at it, or they click on it, they're at least scrolling through and they're seeing, and they have that opportunity to stop and look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So like, to me, like it's genius to do it, because right now it's what everybody's doing. I literally have to tell myself not to get on my social media. Like when I wake up, the very first thing, for the first hour, I'm not checking my social media. And I gotta condition my mind to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, think about how powerful social media is for me to even have to do that.
It's definitely a drug.
It's definitely
you treat it like a drug.
Like, exactly. Like, for me to say, like, look, for the first hour of my day, every time I wake up, I'm not getting on social media. Like, that is how powerful that's how powerful it is.
It's, like I said, I personally feel like it's definitely has addictive qualities about it, and I try to not even give it as much power as it has. I try to keep the power to myself. But I do use it actively. I have used the ads. The ads, honestly, they changed the algorithm now. So the ads are now more powerful than the hashtags. Hashtags used to be the big thing. Hashtag this, hashtag that. They said, why are we giving them free advertisement when we can just charge them an ad and change the algorithm.
It's a business, man. It's a business.
Yeah.
It's
So now, like I said, everybody's drinking the juice.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the juice.
You got to, like, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, as an entrepreneur, bro, you can't get emotionally tied. You can't say, this is how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what's happening. And you got to adjust to it. If you don't, you're going to get lost. You're going to get drowned in the sauce.
Yeah.
You got to adjust, bro. You have to.
Yeah, you become a product
of
it.
That's what I'm saying.
Rather than making it the product itself.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, man. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to do, man. You got to get
it is actually the product. Social media is actually a conduit between you and
if you ain't got no social media
your customer,
you're not like you really. There's really no way, and that's what I tell people now. Like even to myself, I was never strong in social media. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that person as far as to get on social media and take pictures of myself or do. I'm not that person. Mm-hmm. But this is what's going. Like numbers don't lie.
Yeah, it's standing the test of time. It withstood the test of time.
If you want to, and it's like I said, bro, I look at people now, like, cause now that I'm researching this stuff, I'm looking at people, man, that have really like you would not know them for nothing. Mm-hmm. If I showed you a picture of them, you'd be like, who is this? Mm-hmm. But they got 2 million followers, and they use them 2 million followers to get to them subscribers. And they're getting paid off that, but you have no idea who they are. But they're still probably getting a fucking $30,000-$40,000 check every single month because of their followers.
Yeah, they probably got
because of social media, bro.
They probably got a milli.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting money right now. You just don't know it because you don't see them in movies or on music videos or on these award shows. But on the back end, they're really millionaires right now getting paid.
They get into it.
You know what I mean? Because of social media, because they're not afraid to post whatever they're doing on social media, and that's what it comes down to.
It's a new lane. It's a new lane. It's a new. It's a lot of new opportunities that come from the development of social media. Social media has turned into a powerhouse, and
it's a good thing.
It has created a lot of new opportunities and a lot of new personalities.
For the average.
A lot of new personalities.
Think about like the game, like people that just sit down and record them playing games all day.
So is social media responsible for OnlyFans? Do you know what OnlyFans is?
OnlyFans.com?
I don't know what the
I
take that as a yes.
Yes. I was in a relationship with somebody that used to have a, you know what I mean? I was in a relationship with somebody. I was like put the name out there, but yeah, I'm very familiar with OnlyFans because of somebody I was in a relationship with. So
did OnlyFans take the space of Backpage?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm not too. I know what Backpage is, obviously.
Everybody knows what Backpage
I know
is.
that.
They don't want to admit it, but they know.
I didn't know what it was at first until it really got hacked. But I do know what Backpage is, obviously. In my opinion, just because of the person I was dating, I don't think OnlyFans is like, it's really like just a bunch of people. Like you just subscribing to somebody that's showing like, aggressive pictures. Like it's not taking because the people that's on OnlyPage, they doing it to get your subscription. Backpage, you doing something physical. You know what I mean? Like I think it's something complete. Like the audience is completely different. The audience is
just
completely
the simp level is different.
like OnlyPage, you can be making money off someone that's across the world.
True.
Backpage, you know what I'm saying? Like you putting yourself out there where you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what Backpage is about.
Yeah, we all do, man, and that shit was highly illegal. So that's why they shut that shit down.
That's why it's called the Backpage because that shit was in the back.
Yeah. So moving right along, podcasting has been trending up. This is the Drip Chat podcast, and we are recently seeing a boom in the podcast culture. What do you think that is going to develop into in the future. You're also working on your own podcast at the moment, correct?
Correct. I mean, I think at the end of the day, man, like it's obviously a industry that's gonna be saturated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when you get into something like podcasts, I feel like you had to have something that's gonna stick out, or you got to be real authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I think podcast is definitely like, again, it's to me anything that gives somebody a person that doesn't have to go to college for 4 to 8 years
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to make money. I'm always gonna support. You know what I mean? But it's just gonna come down to your strategy. You can't just say I'm gonna do a podcast and really just not dedicate yourself to it. You know what I mean? So again, if you ask me again to go back to your question, I like the idea of podcast, bro. I just think if you're gonna do it, you gotta commit yourself to it. Don't just say you're gonna do a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and then you just half-assing nah. You gotta put the same thing, same energy you're gonna put into that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You gotta put into the podcast. You know what I mean? But it's another outlet I feel for people to make something happen. So I definitely like the opportunity.
Yeah. It gives people a voice who normally would feel voiceless. You know, it gives people a chance to kind of broadcast their thoughts to the world and find a following, find people that relate to them and understand where they're coming from, their state of thinking. You know, a lot of times it may not come from people that's right around you, but somebody overseas might understand your thought process, or somebody, you know, it's 7 billion people in the world.
A lot of people are camera shy too.
Yeah,
You know
camera
what I mean?
shy.
So,
That's another thing.
You know what I mean? It gives them the opportunity where they ain't got a camera in front of them, where they can just talk into a microphone. So a podcast might be a good move for a lot of people that feel like they're trying to start a YouTube channel or they're trying to do something where they're afraid of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a podcast, I think, is a good way for them to at least branch off and start, because once you start getting comfortable with speaking in front of a microphone, then obviously you're going to translate that into a camera where it's nothing.
Right.
So I think, again, a podcast is a good opportunity for a lot of people.
It's a great gateway opportunity.
You just gotta take it serious with anything else you do.
And the good thing about podcasting is like it's no pressure. You know what I'm saying? It don't feel like I'm lights, camera, action. You know what I'm saying? It's just chopping it up, shooting the shit like we normally would be.
You just talking. You know what I mean? And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what people want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, like, people don't want to hear this made up bullshit. You know what I mean? Of, you know, these get rich quick schemes, or, you know what I mean? Like, people want to hear like the average person.
Yeah, just
on
genuine
what they're doing,
conversation.
like, you know what I mean, on just general conversation and
genuine.
That is trying to get to, you know what I mean, trying to get to somewhere and explaining how they're doing it throughout that process,
Right.
like some real stuff, you know, that people would actually do.
True that. Okay, so next month is a good month because Cali Picnic. Shout out to the Cali Picnic.
Shout out to the Cali 26. 26. Hold on. Let me break that down real quick. The 26. 24 plus 2. You know what I mean? Think about it. I want the people to think of 24 plus 2. When you say 24 plus 2, we talking about Gigi, number 2. And obviously Kobe the Bean, number 24. 24 plus 2. We doing the Cali Picnic, 26th annual Cali Picnic this year, April 28th. April 18th. 2020.
It's bittersweet because last year
Nipsey.
we commemorated Nipsey, and then this year we commemorating Kobe, and you know, two legends, each in their own right. And it's wild, you know, but that's life, you know. We gotta be always cognizant about the end game, and the end game is, you know, you gotta get this shit done before you get out of here.
Bro, but that's real though, man. Like, even now that you just said it, like you start thinking about it, like Kobe Bryant was not one of them people that was not supposed to go.
It was a wrongful death.
You know what I mean? Like Kobe Bryant was one of them people, like And that's why when people really talking about taking life for granted, like we look at it like, you know what I mean, like, yeah, you right, but at the same time, people don't really take that serious. And it's like I can guarantee you, almost 99.9% of the world that went to sleep Saturday night, the night before Kobe passed, did not think Kobe was gonna pass.
They probably wasn't even thinking about Kobe at all.
The only person I would say would be his wife. You know what I mean? Just because of how they arranged the shit, where they said, "Look, we're never gonna fly on that helicopter together. When you fly, I'm not gonna fly. When you fly, I'm not gonna fly."
Oh, that was a real thing.
That's a real. That was a real arrangement.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
When did that come to light? I never knew that fact.
That was a real arrangement between Kobe and his wife. So at the same time, no, that's a smart, like, as parents,
super smart.
As parents, like, that's a damn smart decision, and it ended up paying off.
But that's because they're cognizant of the end game.
That's again, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you do it like that, at the same time, like, that makes sense. So, me as a person, again, like, understanding that you never want to see it the way it is, but at the same time, how many people actually plan that? Where they sit down and say, listen.
I could believe it, though. I've heard of that before. I've heard of people that don't want to travel with their kids or their significant other, all like one big family and the same thing. Like, even if we took different flights, you know what I'm saying? We could still go to the same place, but you take this flight and then I'll fly in later. You know what I'm saying? At least that way we're not all on the same.
That's gonna change. Like, I'm telling you right now. You know what I mean? Just even if you thinking about that right now, and again, me thinking about it. Like, if that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, now it's like, at the same time, you thinking about it different now, because it's like, look, I'll put them on a whole nother flight, and I'm put myself on a flight. Again, we don't know what's gonna happen with either flights. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, it's so hard, bro. Cause I think when this really happened with the whole Kobe Bryant and Gigi situation, it's just thinking about, like, what happened when did he know at the time? Like, and what did he say to his daughter? Like, did he get the opportunity? You know what I mean?
Man.
Like that, like, that's some shit, like, you really got to think about. Like, I thought about this shit so many times. Like, damn, did some shit that did just come out of nowhere? Did he know about it? Like, what did he tell it? I like, bro, like, think about, like, that shit is hard.
Yeah, your last moments.
Like, did you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, did it just come out of nowhere?
At some point, at some point, I feel like, he probably was aware when the pilot lost control of the helicopter and they was going too fast for the terrain. From what I took from it was that there was some kind of terrain sensor that was missing from the helicopter, and it was hard to navigate without it. And that's why I think the wife is filing a wrongful death suit now.
She filed a wrongful death because she know that if the police said their helicopter should be stationed, that there should be no reason why Kobe Bryant's helicopter should be stationed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because the police wasn't flying around that time because of weather conditions. So that's why she filed it, because she like, if they wasn't able to fly, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is what I will say. We talking about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant might have known that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kobe Bryant could have possibly known that. And Kobe Bryant could have, you know what I'm saying, said, look, you know what I mean? Because he been flying with this guy for so long. Kawhi Leonard flew with this guy.
I think even one of the Kardashians flew with.
Like he was
a regular.
Yeah, he was not no person that was just flying a helicopter. Like,
and the pilot.
Like, bro was official. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know, because they had a game. Like, we don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? And when you think about who Kobe Bryant is, like, he competitive.
So you think the Mamba mentality ultimately led Kobe to his demise?
I don't want to. No, hell no. I don't want to. No. I'm just saying, there's so many things that could have happened in that helicopter that we don't know, and that's the worst part about it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't any. There's so many things that could have happened. So many conversations. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's so sad about this story is because nobody knows what happens once the helicopter took off. Nobody knows what happens.
Yeah, man. God bless the dead, man. I fucks with Kobe. Kobe was one of the first. Kobe was one of the first, like from our era, you know, up and comers. You know what I'm saying? After Jordan, you know what I'm saying? You had Allen Iverson, and then I think Kobe, right?
I wouldn't even. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
so many others, but
I wouldn't even Kobe fan. Like I wouldn't even
Kobe was raw.
Fan,
Kobe was raw.
That's one thing I could never not, cause I'm real. I'm a realist though. Like I was never a Kobe fan, but I always say like, yeah, he the truth. And when LeBron left Cleveland, went to Miami, I was always like, that's one thing about it. Like Kobe, even though Kobe wanted to leave, he stuck with his team. He made it happen. He ended up winning 2 more championships.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Kobe.
That's real.
Kobe Bean, man. Kobe Bean, again, rest in peace, man. I'm just like, I have to respect Kobe. At the end of the day, like you got, and that's me talking about. I was never a Kobe fan.
Is that the best way to go out? Is there a way to go out? Is
Nah,
there a good way to die? Is there a good way to die?
Nah. With Kobe,
if you gotta die anyway.
Kobe is not like. There's no way about. There's nothing about me that's gonna be satisfied or look at any type of positive thing that's gonna come out with him going so quick, because I knew what. There's a lot of what he was trying to do, a lot of what he was trying to accomplish.
Well, he was supposed to die of old age.
I like Kobe was not. Yeah, like at the same time, again, bro, I'm not a Kobe fan. And it could be because I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm anti-Lakers. But at the same time, like I respected Kobe. I respected Kobe. Like I always put Kobe at the top, even though I didn't. You know, Kobe was never one of my favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to like the top 3 or 4, like at the top 3, to me it's always. And I'm not no specific order, even though in a way I'm gonna put Michael first, always.
MJ.
Yeah, of course,
okay,
of course.
The GOAT.
But Kobe and LeBron after that, it can be whatever. You know what I'm saying? It can be whatever. I'm always gonna put LeBron as the GOAT number 1. I mean, not LeBron, Jordan number 1. Of course, that's my opinion. That can be. Everybody has their own opinion. But after that, like LeBron and Kobe is a toss-up to me. You feel me? I can go with Kobe just for the killer instinct, and I can go with LeBron because nobody can match with him physically. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Like Kobe got a fucking mentality that nobody can fuck with, but LeBron got a physical, just a body that nobody can fuck with. You know what I'm saying? If LeBron had the Kobe and Jordan mentality, LeBron would be the best player in the fucking planet. Period.
Yeah, that's the dynamic of sports. You know, it's the randomness of it, You know, and such is life. So, looks like we have one more topic of discussion, and that is future endeavors. So when you think of the future for yourself, what do you think of? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it short at the 5. In 10 years, I know I'm gonna be super rich.
Okay.
In 5 years, I'm just gonna be rich.
I like that energy.
You know what I mean? So in 5 years, I definitely see myself. Obviously, my vending machine business, I see that being way expanded.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, my e-com store, my online store that I'm gonna drop in about another month, I see that expanding by then. So 5 years, man, I just see myself in position where I'm really just plugging other people in.
Okay.
Like I think that'd be a good space. If I say 5 years from now, I think that'd be a good space where I can really devote a lot of my time to just showing other people the way. But I gotta get there first. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like 5 years, I'll be there, but that's the type of space I'll be at that time. Like not too much in me, but focusing on other people and showing them how to get it back.
That's what it is. That's as real as it
What
gets.
about you though, bro? Like, what about you in 5 years?
Um,
5 to 10, 5 to 10. What about you, bro?
5 to 10, man. I hopefully I'm coaching my kid to do some crazy shit, whether it's fucking whether he's a virtuoso at the piano or a chemist or whatever his wildest.
You threw the piano. Does he play piano now?
He's just not starting on the keyboard.
Oh,
He's just not starting on the keyboard. He's about to actually start soccer. So he's about to start soccer. That's gonna be his new thing. Which he's played soccer before, but he said he want to play soccer. So we finna go out on the soccer field, and I'm finna have to run with him. That's one thing I highly recommend is that when you're coaching your kids, get out there with them and show them you can do it too, and make them work harder. I think.
So look, I wanna ask you some questions about that. So, obviously, like when you knew you were gonna be a father,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? When you knew you was gonna be a father, like what were the first things that went through your mind?
I was hella anxious, man. I'm talking about anxiety to the point where I like tears would come to my eyes because I was so nervous because I had never felt that weight of responsibility before. It's one thing to pay a bill and to manage a household and do all that other stuff, but to be responsible for a whole fucking human is like a different level of responsibility, and that's something that that's why I'm glad it took 9 months for the baby to come, because I needed that I needed that space. I needed that time to get my mind right.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad that there is a waiting period. I'm glad there's a waiting period.
So for the people that haven't had any kids yet, you know what I mean, that maybe either their girlfriend, baby mama, wife, whatever is pregnant right now, whoever is pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
like when the baby came out. Like, tell me, like, can you kind of relive that a little bit?
Well, I just had my second one, so I've seen it twice.
You know what I'm saying? I want the first experience.
The first experience, man, I'm gonna tell you what, man, that was one of the most rawest scenes I ever seen. And I seen some shit.
So you saw it. So you was actually
I've
there.
seen some shit.
So you got the insiders, like, for everybody.
I was right next to the doctor.
So it kind of explained, like, the best way you can, like, your, like, the emotions and when you first saw your son, and at the same time this could be your daughter, but I see his was his first son. But
with me,
what was going through your mind when you first saw him?
When I first saw my kid, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But you still like, really, it's still like, it's such a it's the type of experience where, like, you've been preparing for it. Like I said, that 9 months was very necessary because by the time you get to the end, you're mentally prepared. And this is if you choose to participate. There's a lot of people that don't participate, and there's others that participate.
Do you recommend
and they get hands on.
Do you recommend
I highly recommend participating in your child's conception from start to finish.
There you go.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, once you get into that room and it starts happening, everything just kind of dies out around the everything just kind of like blends together. It's like it's kind of hard to explain because you don't really understand, like, what's happening, but you don't understand like how you don't have time. You're so caught up in what you're seeing that you're not thinking about how it's making you feel at the time, if that makes sense. So it's just and you've never seen nothing like it. Even when you see it, even when you've seen it before and you see it again, you're still like, damn.
So at what point did it really just hit you with, like, damn, I got a kid? Like, at what point after everything that happened, like, because you witnessed everything from beginning to end. So at what point do you think it really just happened? If you can be as realistic as possible, like, what time you think it happened where it's like, damn, I got a kid now?
I mean, honestly, I think my first aha moment with the kid was the ultrasounds. You know, the ultrasounds got, you know, you start out with a seed, then it gets bigger, then it gets a little bit bigger. You can see the organs, and then next thing you know, it's just, you know, I mean my child, not the shits.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
My child,
Yeah,
my child has a face. My child has a whole organ system. My child has bone structures and a skeleton, and my child has a heartbeat. This is when you start realizing that it's getting real.
So there is no point after, you know, obviously after your son came out, there is no point where you were like, damn, this is real now. Like now I'm not just seeing it on. I'm not seeing it from a screen. I'm not seeing him from a screen. I'm not seeing like.
That's immediately.
He's really here. Like,
so I took a picture. When my son was first born, and it's of him holding my pinky finger with his hand, and his whole fist is like gripping on, wrapped around my pinky finger, and you know, that was probably the first like Kodak moment, and I think that's the moment that I was able to actually capture. That was the first moment I could capture and go back and look at and remember how it made me feel at the time. So that was probably, to answer your question, when he first grabbed my hand as a human breathing child, that was the moment when I was like, damn, this shit is real.
That was deep. I ain't gonna lie, like that's real. Like, and I can see it too. So,
yeah, I had to go back and dig that shit out, but it was that's probably what the moment was.
Nah, I felt like I felt that, bro. Like I really felt that. So when that happened, like, is there a way, if possible, you know what I mean? Again, because I just want, if there's a way, if any way possible, like, can you describe, like, what may have been the first thought in your mind, like, that's actually happening right now, like.
What, as the baby was being born, or as after the baby was delivered?
Like, when you say he grabbed your pinky, like, can you, like, what was really the first thought, man?
My thought was, we're connecting. My thought was, he knows who I am. Like, he feels I'm his. He knows that I'm a person that he's responsive. That was my thought. He's responsive. He's responding to shit.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a fucking human.
He's there. He's breathing. He's feeling me. Like, nah. Seeing that again, bro. I feel like, again, like, that response right there is gonna resonate with a lot of people, because, again, like, that's probably a real ass answer. Like, you didn't try to give this big ass, like, oh, I felt like my life was gonna, like, bro, like, nah, he like, nah, I knew that was real.
That's what I'm saying.
He squeezed me, you know what I mean? Like, that was real. That was a feeling I needed to know that this was real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, definitely salute to that, bro.
And that's something that only me and him could share. And, you know, and exactly. Even when I had my daughter, it was a similar experience, but it was unique in its own way. You know, for my daughter, you know, it was its own experience. You know, for her it was different because she's a girl, and with my son it's like, okay, I got a baby lion, you know. But with my daughter it's like, I got a baby, a real human baby. Like, it's different. Like, I can train this guy up to be, you know, whatever, but this one here, I gotta be a little bit more delicate.
Exactly. So do you feel like, as an entrepreneur though, like, is it making it easier, or is it gonna make it harder for you to raise? As it like,
definitely.
Where you at right now? Like, how do you?
It takes some adjustment. You definitely have to adjust your work schedule to your family time frame, because you have to be involved with your family in order to have that balance. For me, as a professional, my family is my escape from work. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, if I didn't have one, then the other is gonna suffer. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't have work, my family's gonna suffer. If I didn't have my family, my work is gonna suffer.
So being an entrepreneur, and obviously being in a situation where you've done it, you know, before, you know what I mean, before you had a child, after you had a child, during you had a child, how does that, do you feel like, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you discover that you're having a child, do you feel like you need to stop doing what you're doing, or like give some advice to someone that wants to be an entrepreneur and they may have a child that's on the way right
I am always. I think you should always plan parenthood. I think you should always, to your best ability, control your procreation. And you should, if something comes up, then you have to be accountable for it. I'm definitely pro life. You know, I think you have to just man up in a lot of certain situations. I've gone through certain situations where I had to make some tough decisions, and you know, the best way I can answer that is to just be mindful of what you're bringing into this world, and understand that if you do decide to bring a child into this world, you're gonna have to be responsible for it. Or
now?
if you're able to if you choose not to be responsible for it, then you got to make that next decision.
It's really like, I think where you trying to go is like, definitely, if you come into this situation, you gotta work double time. Like at the same time, like that's your responsibility. Like you
Yeah.
said, you gotta take accountability for it.
Yeah, that shit
You
is
know what I mean?
serious.
So
That shit's serious. That's the most serious.
you gotta have to work double. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to be an entrepreneur, because at the same time, I feel like there to me, there's just no way. Like I look at it, even at the athletes,
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James, Steph Curry, these people are multi-millionaires. If they're multi-millionaires, bro, think about the people that are paying their salaries.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think at the end of the day, that's what I try to get across is the sad. Like you cannot take your time away from anything. And I think that's what a lot of people was going to. Like, I want to be a rapper. I want to be an athlete. Let me get multi millions.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like when we had the when I posted that thing about Kawhi Leonard, when I say he know his worth, like Kawhi Leonard,
Right.
he's a multi-millionaire. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, bro, he know his worth. He knows like Gatorade ain't finna get no free press on me.
Yeah, right.
Let me take that bottle and put it on the table, like, bro, y'all
Toss
gotta
that
pay
shit.
me. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important, man. Like you gotta really take it, and the reason why I say that is because you gotta take a chance on your work. Like if you feel like you know this is what you want to do, you gotta invest into yourself. You know what I mean? And that's one of the biggest things when it come down to you, bro. Like you know what I mean? I really respect because you came from a situation where I know a lot of people have, and they complain because of the situation they came from. You know what I mean? They be like, bro, like this is what happened. I can't get no job. I can't do this. You know what I mean? But you made it happen, and me too. In the same degree,
Absolutely.
like I made
Absolutely.
it happen too. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the whole point, you know what I mean, especially for anybody that's watching this YouTube and seeing us right now, is like you don't have to be gifted with any type of silver spoon in your mouth. Like you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to do this, that, any other. Like nobody in this room right now, you know what I mean? And I hope by listening to this podcast and listening to this, y'all understand, like, nobody's perfect. We just took control. And go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna add to what you were saying. It's more about the individual opportunity. Making the most of the opportunity at hand.
Gotta cease it, bro. You gotta cease it. Like, we make excuses a lot of times. And I
Yeah.
think that excuse is almost like a kind of like an escape. You know what I mean? When we say like, look, I got a felony. You know what I mean? So I can't do nothing.
It's definitely a scapegoat. It's definitely a scapegoat.
Do you hear
You
like,
can
how do
always
you feel like
anytime you can place the blame on something besides yourself, it's a scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? If I can blame them folks this or that, you know what I'm saying? It's a scapegoat.
So what do you think? What do you think made you do something like what made you not take that scapegoat? You know what I mean? Like what why are you different? You know what I mean from like a lot of us that use that same scapegoat saying, "Oh, I got this and that on my record," or you know what I mean? This is how I grew up. Like what made it different for you?
I would like to answer that by saying that me as a human is not different. What's different is the decision that I made and the sacrifices that I was willing to make. You know, that's what's different. You know, success can only be achieved by having a certain mindset. And if you're trying to go from point A to point B, you can't do the same thing at point A that you're gonna be doing at point B. Even if you do some of that shit along the way. You know what I'm saying? At some point, whatever you was doing at point A is gonna interfere with you being at point B. And if you keep on doing it, it's gonna make you go right back to point A. So if you want to get from point A to point B, and then you realize, damn, I wonder what it's like at point C. Guess what, motherfucker? You can't do half of the shit that you was doing at point B just to be at point C.
Bruh, like what you saying, bruh, again, it's, as an advisor, I tell people this all the time, like, if you want to change your life, when you come to me, a lot of times when people come to me and they ask for my help, obviously at this point they're trying to change, they're trying to do something different.
Yeah.
But it's like when I break it down to them and I say, this is what you gotta do different, and they're like, I don't know about I don't know.
Well, what they're telling you is that I don't know about my success.
I
don't know about my ability to achieve.
But the whole point is, like, if you're trying to change your life, how can you change your life doing the same thing you're doing already every single day? If you don't change anything you're doing, like, you know what I mean? It could be trial and error. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may say, hey, I'm going to start reading every hour of my day.
That's a double entendre.
And try to do that, and they may start reading every hour of their day. That doesn't change their life. Then they add something else to that. They say, okay, I'm going to start reading every day, and at this point of the day, I'm going to block this out, I'm going to start going to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, these are the type of things when it comes down to really changing your life. Like, you got to, if whatever you're doing right now is not working, you got to switch that shit up. Like, you got to switch it up. I don't care what you decide to start doing, but whatever you're doing right now, if you there's no way you're going to be successful if whatever you're doing right now is not working. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me how that shit works. Like, how do you do the same thing over and over and over and again? It hasn't done any success for you before, and all of a sudden you think, next week I'm gonna keep doing the same shit, and next week it's gonna work.
I think one thing that doesn't get mentioned in the conversation about success enough is self-control. Self-control will fight most battles for you. If you think about it, having self-control gives you the ability to stick to your goals and carry out the things that you know that you have to do in order to get to what you want to be. So self-control. Shout out to self-control.
Self-control and discipline, bro. Self-control
Cheers
and discipline
to that.
for sure. You know what I mean?
Cheers to that.
Self-control and discipline for sure. Because if you ain't got that, you ain't winning.
So the last topic of discussion is drip. That's what we are, the Drip Chat Podcast. We are purveyors of all things fresh. Purveyors of all things fresh. Drip Chat Podcast, freshest podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms at Drip Chat Podcast. Hosted by Space the Great. Me and my super player partner, chopping it up and just shooting the shit on some real life topics. The last topic of discussion is drip. We just gonna wrap it up on that tip. Pause.
So, hey man.
But yeah, anyway.
Hey,
Drip. What does drip mean to you? What do you
man.
think of when you think of drip?
So to me, drip, man, is just to me, drip is almost like another way of saying your swag or your feng shui, or you know what I'm saying. Like, to me, I know a lot of times when you hear drip, you're gonna think about your fashion, like how you dripping, like how you looking, how your appearance is. But to me, bro, at the same time, my drip, man, is the businesses I got going on. You feel me? Like, my drip is my vending machines, my econ store, you know what I'm saying, real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everything that I got going on, like, that's my drip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that I guess it can be a personal thing. You know what I mean? Because I can't be the guy to say because I got these businesses going on, that's my drip. And then because somebody feel like they stepping out, like they clean as fuck, and that's their drip. You feel me? So I guess whatever make you go, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be your drip.
The drip is more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
The drip is more than meets the eye.
Definitely.
Because guess what? It's a lot of things that's drip that you can't even see. You can't see a motherfucker's work ethic just by them standing there. You know, you might see the things that they're ordained with. You might see their garments, but you don't see what's on the inside. You don't see their mindset. You don't see the intangibles. You know, and this is what you're this is a compliment to what you're saying.
That's how I feel, bro. Like I said, I feel like drip can really be what you make it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the way it's being used, I feel like, again, it's what you make it, your style, whatever make you tick, bro. You know what I mean? That's your drip. That's your hustle. You know what I mean? Like, you can, to me, that's when I think about drip. And again, I'm a little older, so. But when I hear drip, like that's what I relate it to. So if somebody talk about my drip, like, yeah, it might not be what you see me wearing.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? I can tell you what I got going on. These businesses I got going on. To me,
man.
that drip.
Hey, that
so
is the ultimate drip.
Literally, because I got money literally dripping while I'm going to sleep.
Hey, that's the ultimate drip. You heard that? You hear that?
That drip to me, bro. So
to the younger generation,
you know what I'm saying? Like, understand.
Hey, we ain't that old, goddammit.
Nah, hell
we,
nah.
We really just got out of our 20s, you know what I'm saying? So we still good, you know what I'm saying? Even though
that new drip.
One thing we gotta stop frowning upon getting older, because there's no stigma about getting older and living to experience your golden years. Listen, nobody wants to die young. Dying young is overrated. That shit is overrated. I don't know about the next person, but me, I want to die old as fuck, 110, shitty pamper, fucking no teeth. I want to die old as fuck. I'm going to talk shit until I croak.
Here's the ticket. The goal is to die young as possible, as long as possible. Feel me?
What?
Young as possible, as long as possible. So at the same time, like, bro, like, again, I'm not gonna be one of them people that say, you know, I'm gonna plan for 10 years later when I can get the car that I want to drive. Now I'm gonna try to get the car that I want to drive now. So I can drive that car now.
You want your heaven on earth.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at least at the end of the day, like, I want to live, like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's responsible. You got to understand how to purchase a car, you know what I mean? Whatever your dream car may be, you got to set a plan,
Jeep,
you know what I
Jeep.
mean?
Shout out to Jeep.
Mine was a SRT Charger. You feel me? And I learned how to position myself to get my car, where there's some people that's paying more than me for a car that's not even half what I'm paying for.
A car is definitely part of your drip.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, like, it's not. It doesn't have to be a part of your drip, but it's a part of my drip. To me, like, cause I always wanted, you know what I mean, a car that I want to be comfortable driving.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
I feel like a car. I mean, not everybody can always have a car that expresses who they are, but every car that they pick is something that they chose.
Everybody may not care about a car. You know what I'm saying? Like there
Right.
might be some people that say they don't care about what type of car they drive.
But from the options that were available, you chose this specific one. Even if you didn't get your dream car, you chose a car that you felt the most comfortable with.
Exactly.
That is a form of expression.
Exactly. Everybody, like anybody that knows me, and one thing about it, there's a recording. When I think I might have been 6 years old. My dad got a recording when I was 6 years old. When I said I'm going to be driving at this time, because I was 6 years old. Mm-hmm. I said a Ferrari Testarossa and a Lamborghini Countach. Mm. Those were the cars that I said, and there's a recording. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my pops, when I was little, he used to play that over and over and over. You know what I mean? So I can keep repeating that and hear it. And as a kid, I said, I'm going to be driving a Ferrari Testarossa and a Lamborghini Countach. Mm. Obviously, the cars that changed. I still want a Lamborghini, and I still want a Ferrari. You know what I mean? But
I wouldn't know what to do, man.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm putting myself in that position, bro. I'm putting myself in that position, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Aim high, Willis. Aim high. Aim high.
I'm shooting for the stars, bro.
Shit, damn right. I like fast cars. If I had to pick a fast car, damn, what could I pick? I probably would be like some Aston type shit. I probably would do some shit like an Aston.
James Bond.
Yeah, I'm more of that tip. Now, James Bond, that's a whole nother podcast. I'm gonna get into that. That's an episode in itself.
But look, bro, like, again, the whole point of this is whatever it is you want. Like, you know what I mean? Again,
that's a form of expression.
My car, I like cars. I'm not saying that cars is probably one of the most irresponsible things you can buy because of the valuation of the price as soon as you drive off the lot.
Well, as an owner, maybe not necessarily.
I mean,
as
there's a lot of ways. Like, I don't research all the different ways of how you can buy cars. You know what I mean? Like, and that can be another podcast.
Yeah.
As far as the perfect time to buy a car, you know what I mean. But most of the times, like me, because I'm a car, I just love cars. Mm-hmm. So I'm always like, but at the same time, I put myself in a position where I can afford it. You know what I mean? But that's what it comes down to, like, whatever it is that you want to do. Like, you may have your own vice. Like, somebody may want a big-ass house.
Everybody has that.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just your own vice. Like, you just got to put yourself in that position. You know what I mean? And understand the financial, you know what I mean? The negatives that come with that. You know what I'm saying? But you got to put yourself in that position, bro. And everybody has their own. I'm a car person. I like cars. So that's what I'm going to do.
Dope.
You know what I mean?
Dope. Well, I think that kind of sums it up, man. We was able to bring up the drip, and we wound up talking shit about
drip
cars.
Like a motherfucker. Hey,
so that was pretty dope, man. Yeah. I know you remember the box Chevy.
That
bow tie pipes coming out.
I don't know what y'all know about this man. This man used to have a clean ass box Chevy, like.
Box Chevy, Chevy boys.
Like, when we talk about a box Chevy, you know what I mean? You probably thinking about what you may have had in your driveway, but I'm saying what this man had under that hood.
Yeah, we gonna talk shit about cars on another episode, man. We gonna wrap this one up though, man. Hey, listen, I appreciate everything today. That was the ultimate chat, real player shit.
Hey, it was love, man. It was love, bro. I appreciate everything, man. I love what you're doing, man.
This is the Drip Chat podcast. Y'all follow us on all social media platforms: Drip Chat Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Drip. It's the drip.
And the drip is eternal. It ain't in you. I mean, it ain't on you. It's in you. And motherfucker, if it ain't in you, then goddamn it.
If you feel like you got some drip, you need to go ahead and subscribe to the podcast.
Yes, sir. This is the Drip Chat podcast where we discuss all things fresh. This includes but is not limited to personal style experiences as they relate to everyday life. My intention is to send you off better and more knowledgeable than you arrive. All accounts and interviews are real and come from real people. I am your host, Space the Great. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you choose to consume your daily listening. We are currently streaming on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. Lastly, we can be found at Drip Chat Podcast on YouTube and all social media platforms. Tell a friend to tell a friend that this is Drip Chat, the podcast for people that know fresh.